guess what? I'm going to ask you all two things. Number one, a little bit of housekeeping. Cell phones. I know y'all got them. I got two. Put them on vibrate or on silent. We don't want to disturb everyone else. And now I'm going to ask you to please rise for His Honor, Arthur J. LeBlanc, and Her Honor, Mrs. Patsy LeBlanc, as they arrive in the room. Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment with a little technical difficulty. What's an opening night without it? We will now have the singing of the national anthem by Jupiter Rain, accompanied by Owen O'Soundly.
With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Good evening, everyone. I have no idea why it's doing that. Good evening. I would like to welcome you all to our event this evening, and I want to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral, historical lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Tonight, I bring you greetings from those lands from a settler's perspective. The individual who is going to bring our greeting is not able to be here tonight. But I wanted to say a few words as we think about being here in Mi'kma'ki. The Mi'kmaq people welcomed us here, and we are all settlers. And at so many events, we always begin with saying, welcome to Mi'kma'ki. But do we really think about what that means and how important that is? That we are in lands that we were welcomed to. And in particular, as people of African ancestry, the Mi'kmaq sheltered us, took care of us, cared for us, blended families with us. And for this, we will forever be thankful. So as you go out into the world and as you do your land acknowledgements, I would ask that you think about them from a settler's perspective and how much being here and being allowed to remain here in Mi'kma'ki is important to all of us. Thank you. I would now like to ask Pastor Rhonda Britton to please come forward and bring our opening prayer.
Greetings, everyone. Indeed, it is a joy to be together celebrating this 40th anniversary. Congratulations. I will pray. Yeah, it's right. We need to be excited about it. I will pray in my Christian tradition, but I invite all of you to pray silently or meditate in whatever your tradition is. Let's pray. Thank you, Almighty God, for who you are. Thank you for keeping us to this time. Thank you for the vision, inspiration, and leadership that has brought us here tonight, marking 40 years of celebrating Black excellence in the world and right here in Nova Scotia. Thank you for your faithfulness to us. As we consider our rich history from our beginnings in the motherland, the inhumanity of our enslavement, the many hardships of our ancestors, and the challenges we still endure today, we are grateful, loving, and merciful God that you have never left us. This year, we highlight the proof of your presence that may be found in the gleam of our eyes and the magnetism of our smiles. Our smiles that reflect joy despite the pain inflicted on us as people who are still marginalized in this society. Our smiles that reflect our resilience in the face of oppression. Our smiles that speak to the heart of who we are, regardless of what others try to do to us. Strengthen us, empower us, inspire and keep us. Give us wisdom and give us courage to continue to strive for justice and righteousness in this world. Prosper the work of our hands as we cling to your truth that declares the joy of the Lord is our strength. We ask these things in the name of Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Nova Scotia is the birthplace of African presence in Canada. Over this period, there were waves of people of African descent that called Nova Scotia home. African Nova Scotians are a distinct founding people in our community who have contributed to and have been a key part of Nova Scotian culture and history for over 400 years. We acknowledge that African teachings, strength, and perseverance continue to challenge and inspire our community. The historical stronghold of our ancestral fortitude provides the backdrop on which we often lean. Our ancestors' labor, heartache, rich culture, traditions, and unwavering strength created the foundation upon which we stand. When we call our ancestors into this space, it's to bring them to the present, the collective victory that can help us in our face of challenges. For people of African descent, our ancestors are the focus of respect and gratitude because we know whose shoulders upon which we stand. And we ask our ancestors into this space today to lead us and to guide us. Thank you very much to Tracy Jones-Grant. She's the Managing Director of Diversity and Inclusion Office for HRM, for our welcome to the Mi'kmaq Territory from a settler's perspective. And Pastor Rhonda Britton of New Horizons for the opening prayer. We're now going to have a rendition of Lift Every Voice by Thaja Berry.
every voice and till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Phaedra. Just a bit about Phaedra. She's otherwise known as Jupiter Rain, and she was the 2023 ANSMA Rising Star of the Year award winner, as well as a 3-time ANSMA nominee, including Artist of the Year, Single of the Year, and 2023 Music Nova Scotia African Canadian Artist of the Year nominee. And we're lucky enough to be hearing from Phaedra again a bit later. My name is Tamar Pryor-Brown, one of your co-hosts for this evening. This is only my 3rd year co-hosting this event, but here I'm sitting beside this evening the legendary hosts of the African Heritage Month opening nights for the last several years, Ms. Tracy Jones-Grant and Crystal Mulder.
Anniversary.
We made it.
We made it. We're still standing. We talk about, this year's theme, our smiles, our joy, our resilience as African Nova Scotians. You want to talk about resilience? 40 years is resilient. And our people, we've persevered. We have thrived and strived to be a part of this province and this country. And I think we've done it. What do you all think? What do you think?
We have. We certainly have. I wanted to share with you all, I don't know if you can hear me without the microphones. I wanted to share with you all what 40 years of African Heritage Month has looked like. So I had an opportunity to speak a bit at the press conference, but I wanted to do it tonight with visuals. I want to share the story of the work and the people who were involved in this. And you know what would really help? If I had my notes. Okay, Julie. You'd think, eh? And as I said at the press conference, I've had the pleasure of being a part of this for the entire 40 years. So many of you, and I look out in the audience, and I see former members of the committees, and I see people who've been engaged with this over the time. But let me just tell you a little bit of the story. Let me just share with you what 40 years looks like. So, the celebration of African Heritage Month began back in 1984, and it was initiated under the leadership at the Halifax North Memorial Public Libraries, the late and great Terry Simons, and the then branch manager, Adelia Amuni. And it was supported by our very own David Woods and the Cultural Awareness Youth Group. Many of you sitting out there tonight probably were members of a Cultural Awareness Youth Group at some time. So we started in '84, but we really didn't start kind of promoting it until around '85. And so in 1985, we did our first little kind of flyer, and one of the main programs was a presentation on Black women in Nova Scotia. And this first Black History Week was done in partnership with the Black Cultural Center, and we hosted our very first Black History Week quiz at that time. We continued to grow, and we continued to do things, and we continued to have activities. And as you can see, the week kept getting busier and busier. By 1998, we had our very first, by 1988, we had our very first opening night. And it was held at the North Branch Library with guest speaker Calbert Best. And this was one of the first sort of full flyers that we did at that time. Some of you may remember this. This was huge in Nova Scotia. This is when we brought Jesse Jackson's Push Excel to Nova Scotia. It was a big program that they were involved in. And we had an event at North Branch, and we also had other activities happening. A picture there is of Anne-Marie Woods speaking at one of the events. And as you can see, Cultural Awareness Youth Group, the poster in the back. The foundation, one of the strong foundations for Black History Week and African Heritage Month. And I keep saying that because generations are changing, people are changing, but we can't lose this story. We can't forget where things started and on whose shoulders we stand as we move this work forward. By 1990, we were growing, but you see, we're missing 1991. 1991 was one of our most interesting years, and this will be a flag for some of you. It was the year that we did the very first full-size poster, and we got the money to do it from Zellers. All I will say is, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So if anybody remembers what happened in 1991 when Zellers decided to sell dolls and called them eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and we as a community said, that's not happening. And we took them for all the money that we could get. In 1992, now I'm not going to keep you all night because I know it's 40 years, but in 1992, we had our very first CBC Main Street Live in the library with our very own Dr. Marie Hamilton and the Gospelers. When we look back, we can see that the very first gala was held in 1993, the very first one that we ever did. And in '94, as a committee, we were saying, why are we just doing this in Halifax? Let's think about doing this all around the province. So we got some money and we invited folks from all around the province to join us to see if we could get Black History Month committee set up around the province. Well, it didn't go so great, but we tried. 1994 was also the 10th anniversary of the Black History Month Association. It was a big year. It saw the initiation of our very first press conference that we held at the Black Cultural Center, and also our very first youth weekend. How many folks were involved in youth weekends? Yes, I see you there, Barb. Where we would take the kids and do all kinds of things. The very first one involved being at the George Dixon Center, then we had a basketball tournament, and then we had a team dance. And the years went on. This, for our gala in 1995, was the first year that we ever had a picture of the committee. I want folks to take a look, see if you see yourself there. You may not look the same anymore, but we're there. And we kept going. And we've had performers, all different kinds of performers from all over. Performers that have gone on to do great and wonderful things. Actually, all of our performers have. Here we're looking at Glenn Grant and Veronica Tynes, both doing great things in film and in music. Bucky Adams. Again, our committee. It wasn't until 1998 that we picked our very first theme. And our first theme was called Rhythm of Our Roots. And 1999 was our very first anniversary church service held at Cornwallis Street Baptist Church with the North Preston Choir as our guests. We were growing, we were expanding, so much more was happening. And we continued and continued. Taking our children to Hatfield Farms, celebrating. I don't know if anybody remembers this opening night where the choir started up in the top of the round church and the sound filled the space. It was goosebumps. We never stopped. And what's nice about documenting this is so many of our elders are not with us anymore. For example, we've got Miss Evelina in this picture. Some of our elders on whose shoulders, again, we stand. 2003, our gala hosted Gary Beals. And this month, 40 years later, Gary will be back in Halifax performing as part of the Road to the Junos. Starting point where people came and they gathered and they celebrated. We continue to do various things throughout our years through African Heritage Month. We changed our name from Black History Week to Black History Month to African Heritage Month. In 2005, we saw the establishment of the African Heritage Month Information Network, which now has been in existence for some time and now brings folks from all over the province together to plan African Heritage Month events. So through the years, we've done a variety of things. We've told our stories. We've been resilient. We have not stopped. We continue to go. We celebrate our elders. We celebrate our youth. We celebrate being in places we weren't welcomed in before. Province House, Governor General's house, places where we never thought we would see ourselves. And all through the work and the folks who've been around the table for African Heritage Month. As we've moved through times, we've seen generations come together at the table. COVID-19, it didn't shut us down. We moved online. And we did our openings online. And the celebrations continued. Last year, 2023, and here we are at 2024. So in 2024, we celebrate the 40 years of African Heritage Month in this province. We acknowledge and we honor all of those who initially had the vision. To the many committee members, past and present, and those committee members who are no longer with us, I say thank you for keeping our stories alive. I would also like this audience to just have a little bit of a feel for how many people have been touched by being part of the Black History Month Association. So any member, anybody who's been a member, may I ask you to rise and take your flowers. Come on. I thank you for always being there, for supporting us, for allowing Crystal and I to kind of keep this going. I'd say I look forward to another 40 years, but I'm walking with a cane now, and I don't know what I look like 40 years from now. But I'll keep on going. Thank you.
See how you she is with the cane? She forgot it. Now it's time for a libation ceremony. It is tradition to pour libation in remembrance of our ancestors at all special occasions, and tonight is such an occasion. This is an opportunity for us to reflect on our African past and our Canadian and North American present. Water is the essence of life, and that's what we're going to use to pour the libation tonight. As I pour water to the four corners of the earth, I'm going to ask you to yell out the names of your family, yell out the names of your ancestors. To the north, for the motherland, the cradle of civilization. For the ancestors and their indomitable spirit. For the elders from whom we can learn much, and for our youth who represent the promise of tomorrow. For our people, the original people. For our struggle and in remembrance of those who struggled on our behalf. For Umoja, the principle of unity. This third point, okay, which should guide us in all that we do. And for the Creator who provides all things great and small. And for our ancestors. Names.
Alita Williams.
Thank
John
you.
Jones.
Thank you.
Burnley Jones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Elsie Bernard.
Thank you.
Noel Johnston.
Thank you.
Norman Hamilton.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rosella Bundy.
Thank you. That's
Sarah
one
J.
I haven't
Clayton.
heard in a long time. Rosella Bundy. Anyone else? Thank you. For our ancestors, we say thank you and ashe.
We now have a special treat for you. You know that African drums are played to communicate, mourn, inspire us, and of course we use them to celebrate. And that's exactly what we intend to do this evening. Rush Culture is an entertainment corporation that brings authentic cultural experiences to Halifax and surrounding cities. The Rush Culture Junkanoo Group represents Bohemian culture in Canada, and they have their roots tied in the Western Hemisphere. It's a celebration of freedom and the identity of the Bahamas. With costume, music, and dance, you can't resist the melody, the excitement that Junkanoo brings. Please enjoy.
for Rush Culture for their musical performance. That was just terrific. And I'm going to do something that I really hate to do. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask for remarks from people. And I want to start with the Right Honorable Arthur J. LeBlanc, Lieutenant Governor of the Province of Nova Scotia.
Good evening, Consul General Carr, Councillor Smith, and distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, and friends. Good evening, bonsoir, Quay. As the King's representative in Nova Scotia, it is indeed an extreme pleasure to join you for this very special event. Et à titre de représentant du en Nouvelle-Écosse, c'est avec grand plaisir que je me joins à vous pour cette cérémonie spéciale, une célébration, en effet. Celeste. Tonight, we celebrate 40 years of community achievement, resilience, and strength. Since 1984, we have gathered at the Halifax Public Library to acknowledge the leaders and moments in history that have defined the culture and heritage of African Nova Scotian communities. But these components have also shaped our collective identity as Nova Scotians. During my time as Lieutenant Governor, the theme of African Heritage Month have celebrated educators, advocates, the unity of families, the importance of faith, and most recently, historic ties to the Atlantic Ocean. Each year, I have felt an underlying force that energizes my spirit. It is best captured by this year's theme, our smile, our joy, our resilience as African Nova Scotians. Resilience thrives when there is accountability, and as a province, we acknowledge that African Nova Scotians and people of African descent have experienced and continue to face racism and inequalities. Yes, we have had some success in the settlement of the claims of the Home for Colored Children, the subsequent apology and restorative inquiry, and the national apology to the descendants and relatives of those who served in the No. 2 Construction Battalion in World War I. Despite these successes, there is indeed much work to be done. And as a society, we continue to learn from past failures and strive to rebuild broken relationships. Today, and on all days, we recommit to equity, inclusion, and opportunity for all. And in the words of the late Martin Luther King, I want to see the day when we will judge each other, not by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. And as we launch African Heritage Month 2024, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the organizers and staff who have made this celebration possible, not only this year, but in the past as well. Because as you can tell, this is a community effort, and no one has been left behind. Your dedication for this evening and this year and past years is indeed appreciated by all. Patsy and I, again, thank you for inviting us this evening, and we look forward to having a chance to speak with you. Merci de nous avoir invités, au plaisir de se parler bientôt. Again, thank you. Merci. Aurélia.
Our next words of greetings will be on video. The Honorable Twyla Gross, Minister of African Nova Scotian Affairs, was unable to join us this evening. However, she has sent a video message, and I refer everyone to the screen.
Dear guests, friends, and esteemed members of the community, it is with a profound sense of honor that I address you today on the occasion of our Provincial African Heritage Month 2024. I express my sincere apologies for not being able to join you in person at this event. Rest assured, my heart is with you in both celebration and reflection. As we are celebrating African Heritage Month, we are reminded of the remarkable journey of our 52 historic African Nova Scotian communities and the various journeys of people of African descent that now call Nova Scotia home. These journeys are defined by resilience, wisdom, and hope. The story of African Nova Scotians is an integral part of our province's fabric. Our heritage is a testament to strength in the face of adversity, a relentless pursuit of justice, and a steadfast spirit of community. This month, we pay tribute to our elders, the custodians of wisdom and history, their resilience in facing challenges and their unwavering commitment to our community's well-being, which have paved the way for the generations to come. They have taught us the importance of knowing our past to better navigate our future. We also celebrate the dynamic hope and promise of our younger generation. Their energy, creativity, and vision are the vital forces that will guide us toward a future filled with opportunities and progress. They stand on the shoulders of giants, ready to write the next chapters of our community's story. As Minister of African Nova Scotian Affairs, I am committed to supporting and empowering both the guardians of our heritage and the architects of our future in all Nova Scotia. We continue to work tirelessly to ensure that the voices of African Nova Scotians are heard, their rights respected, and their contributions celebrated, not just during this month, but every day of the year. Let us all commit ourselves to the values of unity, respect, and perseverance. Let's continue to build a community and a province where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and where the rich tapestry of our diverse heritage is a source of pride and strength. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this momentous occasion. Enjoy the celebrations, and may this African Heritage Month be a time of joy, reflection, and renewed commitment to our shared values and dreams.
Thank you, Minister Gross, for the stirring words. We now call on, okay, I'm going to back this up again. Okay. Many of us here in the African Nova Scotian community can trace our roots back to south of the border. Many of us came here as Black loyalists from the United States during and after the American Revolution, or the War of 1812 refugees in the Chesapeake Bay area of Maryland and Virginia and South and North Carolina. So we have a deep affinity and connection to our neighbors in the United States. So it would be not a proper celebration of our history and culture if we did not have someone representing our neighbors to the south. So it was with great honor that I call upon the U.S. Consul General in Halifax, Lyra S. Carr, to bring us a few words.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Black History Month Association, the HRM's Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and the African Nova Scotian Affairs Integration Office for the opportunity to celebrate the beginning of African Heritage Month with you tonight, and it is wonderful to see such an amazing crowd. Throughout my tenure as U.S. Consul General to Atlantic Canada, I've learned from many about the challenges the African Nova Scotian community has faced and continues to face. This year's theme, our smiles, our joy, our resilience as African Nova Scotians, seems very fitting. From the establishment of the Africville Museum to the recognition of the No. 2 Construction Battalion and the permanent banning of street checks that disproportionately targeted African Nova Scotians, these important strides are being made. But these achievements require resilient people, strong communities, and faith in the actions necessary to drive the change and continue to move it forward. In spirit of this year's theme, I want to highlight the perseverance as a defining trait in the U.S. experience as well. The pursuit of freedom, equality, suffrage, and justice by Black Americans has not only paved the way for other historically marginalized communities to benefit in our society, but has also played a crucial part in shaping our democracy. Legislation such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, or sex, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which prohibited racial discrimination in voting, emerged from the relentless commitment and sacrifice of so many during the Civil Rights Movement. And while long-standing disparities still act as significant barriers to our Black communities, the Biden-Harris administration has been working to address systemic racism, unconscious bias, and all other forms of discrimination and exclusion. On President Biden's first day in office, he signed an executive order to advance equity and racial justice in every policy that we pursue. In May 2022, he delivered the most significant police reform in decades with executive order promoting transparency and accountability in community policing. It raises policing standards and creates a new national database to track records of misconduct. President Biden also restored the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, which is responsible for overseeing enforcement of civil rights laws, in addition to doubling the Voting Enforcement Act staff. As we enter the final year of the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent, I'm honored to share our solidarity on behalf of the United States government toward the support, promotion, protection, and recognition of African diaspora communities. As neighbors, as friends, partners, and democracies, may our two countries continue to carry this momentum into the next decade, showing how much we value our diversity on both sides of the border. Thank you very much.
Well then, we got one more dignitary to hear from. And this one is bittersweet because he has announced that he will no longer be a member of Halifax Regional Council. He has served his 2 terms, as he promised he said he would. And now he's going to move on to other things. But it is with great honor and great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Lindell Smith, Consul for Halifax, to bring the Ministerial Proclamation. And I have to say this, a former co-worker here at Halifax Public Library, so I'm really pleased to know this.
Oh, I actually got a few hand claps, so thank you. Well, it's an honor to be here this evening giving remarks on behalf of Mayor Matseb, who couldn't be here this evening, so they sent the 3rd best, which is me. So I hope I am acceptable, and as we must do, we have to acknowledge that we are on Mi'kma'ki, the unceded, traditional, and unsurrendered land of the Mi'kmaq people, and also acknowledge our ancestors of African descent who came here and settled here. And for me personally, I have to honor my family from North Preston and East Preston, because without them, I wouldn't be here today. And I also got to say, I'm not sure where Jupiter, I'm not sure where you're sitting at, but if you're in the back, if you're in there, I can't see, I have to tell you that you have to promise everyone that's in this audience right now, next year has to sign up to be the African Heritage Month Choir, because y'all was doing something during Lift Every Voice. So shout out to you all. So I have a job. I won't go past that. My job this evening is to read the proclamation on behalf of Regional Council. I believe with some of my colleagues that are here, I know I've seen Councilor Ian Stoddard. I know I've seen Councilor Hensby. Are any other of my colleagues here this evening that I am missing? I don't see any hands going up. So I will do that. So bear with me. The proclamation is long. It's almost as long as a pastor-led sermon. So bear with me. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oops. Pastor Britt, don't tell him I said that. Just kidding. So, whereas the Halifax Regional Municipality is committed to celebrating the culture heritage of its citizens, and whereas February is recognized internationally as African Heritage Month, a time to recognize and salute the many contributions and ongoing achievements of Black people all over the world, and whereas 2024 marks the 40th year, the Black History Month Association has celebrated the achievements of African Nova Scotians in Halifax, and whereas this year's theme, Our Smiles, Our Joy, Our Resilience, as African Nova Scotians, outlines the spirits, perseverance that people of African descent have demonstrated over the centuries in our province. It can be said that our smiles can tell a story, they can share joy, they can share resilience. This African Heritage Month, we celebrate our heritage and culture and incredible spirits to overcome, and whereas the theme also aligns with the final year of the United Nations International Decade of People of African Descent, DPAD 2015 to 2024. The goal of DPAD is to strengthen global cooperation in support of people of African descent, increase awareness and passage towards presence in all aspects of society. Nova Scotia has 52 historic African Nova Scotia communities with long, deep, and complex history dating back over 200 years. African Heritage Month provides us with another opportunity to celebrate our culture, legacy, achievements, and contributions of our people, past and present. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Mike Savage, not him, on behalf of Regional Council, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as African Heritage Month in Halifax Regional Municipality, dated at Halifax, Nova Scotia, this first day of February 2024, which is not the date, but you all get it. So with that, thank you, and I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge both Tracy and Crystal and many others who are in the audience, and those who are past for the work you've done over 40 years, knowing that North Branch, as a North Branch brat, that you've seen me come up, and I probably was in some of those pictures at Hatfields Farms or in the auditorium.
There's a picture of you when they did the poster.
Oh, there was a picture of me. I guess I missed that. All I want to say is thank you for continuing this, and it's our job as young people as we come up to continue it. So I stand here today saying I will be there when the cane might not work. You just call on me, and I'll be there to support it. I'll keep it going. So thank you very much.
For all the special words from our dignitaries. Now, does everybody have a ticket for a door prize? Yes, there's lots of rumblings. Devin to the service desk, please. Devin to the service desk. So while Devin's making his way down here and giving everybody their tickets, I'm going to introduce our next guest, but he is a household name, so you're gonna already enjoy this special guest. So most recently, our guest was nominated for the 2023 African Canadian Artist of the Year, Hip Hop Recording of the Year, and Solo Recording of the Year by the East Coast Music Association. In 2022, Owen Lee was honored with the late Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee Medal for exceptional service in arts, community service, and volunteerism in Nova Scotia, presented to him by none other than His Honor, Lieutenant Governor Arthur J. LeBlanc. And I'm still looking for Devin.
He's still walking around.
He's still coming. All right, we're going to draw. Actually, we'll have Tracy do the first draw here. Could I have a drum roll, please?
And the winner is, I don't know if they all have the same, but it's 675-48-778. I hear here.
On the blue ticket, 8694, your last four digits. 8694. Winner right here, here we go.
Congratulations to our winners, and please enjoy the sounds of Owen O'Soundly.
Pray for the days to come. Pray that I'll see the sun. This life's been so burdensome when every day is a rainy one. But suddenly there's no more clouds. Now I believe without a doubt the heaven sent an angel down who came and turned my life around. And you know, I know, friends come, friends go. Yeah, storms arise and winds blow, but one thing I know for sure, when it's cold outside, no need to worry 'cause I'm so warm inside. You give me peace when the storm's outside, yeah, 'cause we're in love, I know it will be alright. Alright, it's alright. Ooh, oh yeah. Seems peace is so hard to find when terrorizing victimized, but that's when I close my eyes and think of you to ease my mind. You bring me to another place where there's no more war, just love and grace. I swear that you restore my faith, and I know the struggle's not in vain. And you know and I know through all the battles, storms arise and winds blow. But one thing I know for sure, when it's cold outside, yeah, no need to worry 'cause I'm so warm inside. Yeah, you give me peace when the storm's outside. 'Cause we're in love, I know it will be alright. Thank you. How y'all doing? Awesome. It is such a pleasure to be here this evening, and I think I want to do a song about like resilience, maybe. Something along those vibes, like maybe like an upbeat, happy, smiley type of song. All right, let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Today's a new day. Over my blue skies. There is no love and the joy in my heart that tell me it's alright. Today's a new day. Oh, there is a sunshine. There is a love that you promised and tell me that it is alright. Oh, I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain. It fell from heaven like a shower now. Oh, I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, oh I smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure you hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile, so smile. Hey, today's a new day. Well, there are no blue skies. Nothing but clouds and it's dark in my heart, but you tell me it's alright. Today's a new day. Oh, where is the sunshine? Where is the love that you promised and tell me, God, that it's alright? Oh, I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain. It fell from heaven like a shower. Oh, I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, oh I smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure you hate to see you give up now, yeah. You look so much better when you smile. Oh, smile for me, yeah. And you just smile for me. Oh, smile for me, yeah. Say, can you just smile for me? Oh, I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, oh I smile, yeah. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile. Oh, I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, oh I smile. So hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile, so smile. Oh. Thank you.
Wow. Definitely brings a smile. Thank you, Owen, and your band. And Owen will be back, as will Phaedra. So we have more exciting stuff for you. Of course, you know, we have the entertainment, but then we also still have to have some speaking. So I'd like to actually take this time, before I introduce another piece, I'd like to take this time to ask our sponsors who have been with us for many years to just bring a few words of greetings. So I'd like to call on Jamie Lynn Patkus from TD Bank. Jamie Lynn.
Of course, I have a tough act to follow. Good evening, and thank you for the warm welcome. My name is Jamie Lynn, and I'm so proud to be with you this evening, representing the TD Black Experience Employee Resource Group and thousands of my colleagues across the country. As a Black woman who relocated here 3 years ago, with roots in beautiful Nova Scotia, I am proud to work for an organization that shares my values and provides opportunities to participate and support events such as this one. I'm delighted to join you as we honor and recognize the importance of African Heritage Month and celebrate Black culture, voices, and stories here on the East Coast. There's nothing more powerful than the sound of everyday change makers who are helping to drive progress forward for us all. TD has been sponsoring African Heritage and Black History Month events and initiatives for over 15 years. We recognize the importance of this month not just as a celebration, but as a reminder of our ongoing commitment to help create pathways and move towards an inclusive and equitable tomorrow. The TD Ready commitment is the bank's corporate citizenship platform, where we leverage the power of our people, business, and philanthropy to support year-round projects that aim to break down barriers, amplify diverse voices, and help drive systemic change. We will continue to take action both inside the bank and beyond our walls. We know that this year has been particularly challenging for many, and people have had to make difficult choices as a result of the rising costs of basic necessities. That's why it's more important than ever that we continue supporting Black-focused, Black-led, and Black-serving organizations and change makers, making a difference in our communities. In 2023, we announced the TD Pathways to Economic Inclusion, which focuses our efforts on helping to improve access to employment training, development and experience, financial services, education and advice, and affordable housing. We also launched the Black Entrepreneurial Credit Access Program, aimed at providing more equitable access to credit for Black entrepreneurs who disproportionately face hurdles securing funds for their businesses. We know there is much more work to do, but we're committed to marching forward together, celebrating and supporting the Black and Afro-descendant customers, colleagues, and communities we serve, today and into the future. On behalf of TD, I'd like to say thank you to the Halifax Public Libraries, your team, an impressive group of volunteers, and to everyone in attendance tonight. It's thanks to the work of remarkable community organizations that meaningful change is possible. TD is proud to continue supporting your efforts and help write tomorrow's history and inspire generations to come. Thank you.
We have one more sponsor that's going to speak, and I am going to go off script just a little bit. I heard that, didn't I? You know how we talk about legacy and 40 years of history? So I had the privilege back in 1978 to work at the Halifax North Memorial Libraries. I spent 30 years, and I always had hoped and prayed that I would be able to say there's a legacy, that there's someone to hand the torch over to. And although they're bringing words on behalf of the entire Halifax Public Library systems, I look at this person in a sense as a legacy, as somebody who's taken the charge and is leading the way in creating what we've always seen as our community-based libraries. So I'd like to call on Randolph White
to come and bring words on behalf of Halifax Public Libraries.
Well, I don't know if that makes things easier or harder, but thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Randolph White. I am the branch manager at Halifax North Memorial Public Library, or as we've heard, it is affectionately known as North Branch. I wavered on this, but I think you tipped me over just in these few moments, Tracy. I also am a 2020 graduate of the Master of Library and Information Studies program at University. And I wasn't sure whether or not to bring that up just because really it was the inspiration from a lot of people in this room and the support and the encouragement to make sure that I honor that and I'm proud of it, because as an African Nova Scotian male, I don't see very many people in this field. And so thank you again for acknowledging the hard work I'm trying to do. I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of Halifax Public Libraries this evening. I see many members of our staff. I see some of our board members, longtime community leaders and partners, very important. And I thank you for joining us, but I also want to acknowledge that tonight would not have the same feel if it wasn't for everybody that is here. A special thank you must be addressed to Crystal Mulder. For hosting tonight, for being part of the library planning team for African Heritage Month, and maybe a little bit personally, but I'm sure many of you can attest to this in the room, a never-ending well of knowledge and stories that inform African Heritage Month and many of our other services at the library year in, year out. I'd also like to thank our founding partner, the Black History Month Association, and Tracy Jones Grant. Very fitting on multiple levels. Tracy, every time you are around, yet again tonight, I learned something historically significant, often about North Branch, and it makes me proud. Maybe a bit nervous as well, to follow in your steps as a branch manager. To our Library African Heritage Month Working Group, thank you. To all library programmers, departments involved in generating content and working with the community all year round. Your tireless work, but more importantly, your enthusiasm and commitment to this work is what makes special events like tonight happen and possible. To the dignitaries, special guests present here tonight, we thank you for spending your evening with us and sharing your very inspiring and motivational words. February 2024 marks the 40th year of the official Black History Month and African Heritage Month celebrations in Halifax, in partnership between the library and the Black History Month Association. It's hard to believe we've been coming together for 40 years in honor of this, in reflection of this, and in celebration of this. There are some people, as mentioned earlier, that have been here from the very outset of all of these celebrations. Thank you for your time, for your stories, for your history, and being part of ours. And as it continues on. Now, it's important to remember that this span of time is just a small period in our history so far. It's up to us here tonight, with our reach to other people as well, to come together for continued growth, to create further change, and to preserve the rich history for the generations to come. African Heritage Month events through the library are made possible by the generous support of our presenting sponsor, TD. Thank you, TD, for your continued support and for elevating Black history initiatives in Halifax and across Canada. As we close out, I'll remind you of the official provincial theme for this year. As you've heard on multiple occasions tonight, it is our smiles, our joy, our resilience as African Nova Scotians. Be sure to get your hands on one of the provincial posters. I think that it brilliantly captures the theme this year. Halifax Public Library looks forward to highlighting and sharing this theme and the many unique faces and stories behind it. In 2024, through free events, workshops, community interviews, videos, special reading lists, and resources. We encourage you to visit African Heritage Month, so ahm.halifaxpubliclibraries.ca. You can visit it now, and you can visit it year-round to find all of our latest updates. You can also join our e-newsletter for regular updates at halifaxpubliclibraries.ca/email. Our calendar is filling up. We have poets that will be breaking into song with George Eliot Clark. Teens will be facing off in our annual youth quiz competition, and it has had a very exciting increase in number of schools across HRM that are participating this year. So very excited to hear the growth of that. And of course, Lift Every Voice performances will be in the library rocking out multiple locations. So feel free to check that out. Hope to see you there, and thanks everyone for being here tonight.
Thank you, Randall. So when we started this evening, we talked about where we began, at North Branch with Terry Simons, Adelia Mooney, and David Woods. So it is my honor to introduce to you David Woods. David is a Dartmouth artist, curator, writer, performer, community organizer who has been at the vanguard of Nova Scotia's Black community's cultural and historical awakening since the 1970s. He is the author of books Native Song, Poetry, In This Place, Art, and numerous plays on African Nova Scotian experiences, including Black Journey in 1984, Part of the Deal in 91, Once in 96, and Extraordinary Acts in 2017. Woods is the founding organizing, Woods is the founder of Black organization, Cultural Awareness Youth Group of Nova Scotia, the Black Artists Network of Nova Scotia, Voices, Black Theater Ensemble, Black History Month Association, Brothers Reaching Out Society, and the Preston Cultural Festival. In 1984, as I said when we began, he was invited to organize the first ever public celebration of Black History Month in Nova Scotia that we held at the North Branch Library, and later served as the coordinator of Black History Months for the Halifax Public Libraries. He has contributed his talents toward award-winning projects across Canada, including Sylvia Hamilton's documentary film, what is it, Kieran? Speak It from the Heart of Nova Scotia, a Gemini Award-winning piece, still used in schools today, still speaks to the experiences of Black youth. Jazz pianist Joe Seeley's recording Africa Suite, and Nathan Dett's choral presentation, and Still We Sing. Woods has won national awards in poetry and drama, including the National Black Poetry Prize in '96 and '97. And in 2017, he was awarded the prestigious Harry Jerome Award for his contributions to arts in Canada. In 2022, he was awarded an honorary Doctor of Laws degree by Dalhousie University in recognition of his contribution to the betterment of Nova Scotian society. It is my honor to stand before you and welcome Mr. David Woods.
I just want to reiterate 1982-83, started a youth group to teach our children their history and culture when there were no programs at all in our schools, motivated by my beloved friends and children that I met in Preston's, the grassroots summer camp. Some of you I see here today, Karen Hudson. And we started school very strangely because we were just ourselves, but we started branches in all the high schools in Halifax. And we kind of fell in love with what we were doing. We built Naval Day floats, we did plays, we started Black History Weeks in all the schools. We had our own TV show. We created a quiz where people would learn about their history and culture in a fun way. After a year of that program, the Black United Front, they stopped the program, which meant I was unemployed and I couldn't go to the schools, but the kids said, we can't allow something so precious to stop there. And so they wrote petitions and they supported me in my efforts. And then one day we got a call from Terry Simons. And I only knew Terry in passing, but he obviously knew more about me than I knew about him. And he sat me down, him and Mr. Mooney, and he said, all right, Dave, I got a deal for you. I will support your youth group. We'll give you an office in the basement if you do my Black History programs. And I was overjoyed because, again, you do not know out there in the world who you're affecting, but here was somebody at the library who had thought about us so much that he had found a way that he could help. And so we began our journeys together. And I remember that first Black History Month, and we were so proud because we were doing Black History Week, so we just called on our young people. So we did a little play called Black Journey, which has had over 800 performances. And we did our quiz, and our group sang, and remember all the people that flocked to the North Branch Library. So I want to thank Terry and Mr. Mooney, because for a long time we did not give, certainly, we certainly sometimes gave Terry, but we certainly always ignored Mr. Mooney. but she was an equal partner in all of the behind-the-scenes work. And the vision of him to want this for his community in his very humble way, as he always was. Even today, when I think back, I'm still very moved by all that. And so, when they called me, after 40 years, when I started going bald, I wanted to go back to one of the original performances that our group did. I called up my buddy Celeste Bernard, who still performs with me, and I said, "You can fly home and we can do Black Journey?" She said, "Nope, not enough notice, Dave." She lives in Kitchener. But I'm going to do a speech called "I Have a Dream, Nova Scotia," that was performed at one of the Black History Months back in the day, written for a play called Dream of a Child. And I'm going to try to do it from memory, but if I don't, the music man will cut in and pretend he was part of the act. I have a dream, Nova Scotia. And so, the Spirit lives with us today. God's Spirit lives with us. For he's the Father and the guiding light, and he has indeed brought us a mighty long way. And as I stand here before you, I think of the story of Reverend Richard Preston. Oh, we revere him now as a great emancipator, don't we? We revere him now as a great leader of the people. But sometimes we forget the beginnings from which he came. For Richard Preston, like so many millions of his people, was born into that cruel institution of slavery. At the age of 5 or 6, when he was young and needed the support of a mother, he was sold off to another master and separated from his mother. And you could imagine how confused he was. The little slave boy born in the world where he doesn't know where he came from, where he's not taught how to read and write, where he doesn't even know where he lives, because he's not allowed to know that. With Richard Preston in his new slave plantation, he did not give in to the dungeons of despair, nor did he seal himself into that terrible confines of grief, because he had been nursed on the word of Jesus. So sometimes that little boy, after working from sunup to sundown, sometimes 15 hours a day, picking cotton or cutting sugar cane or planting nutmeg, he came back to his little slave cabin and he'd go down on his knees and he'd say a prayer. And his prayer wasn't only that one day that he would be free, but that one day all men and women would be free. And he persevered. And then it was about 10 years later, he gained enough courage and he escaped from his master. And he went back to the plantation where his mother lived. When he got there and asked, he was told that they had run away and gone to a place called Nova Scotia. But old Richard Preston, he never gave up. Even though as a runaway slave, he was being pursued by bounty catchers and dogs, and he was being pursued by slave catchers. Oh, he climbed across the mountains, and he hid in the dark forest, and he forded across the streams, and he sailed across the seas. And he arrived in Halifax. And he walked around the harbor, and he asked, where had the blacks who had come 2 years earlier? Where had they gone to? And he was told they'd gone to a place that bore his name, Preston. Oh, the Lord can make some strange coincidences sometimes, can't he? Oh, the Lord can make a miracle sometimes. Oh, and Richard Preston, he got in a horse and buggy and he went up to Preston. And he asked around for where his mother lived, and she lived near Crane Hill, and he knocked on the door that he was told where his mother lived, and a man came to that door, and he told the man his story. When that man went in and spoke to his mother, this woman who'd only known abuse all her life, who'd only known whips and chains, who had seen all her children taken from her and sold off never to see them again, she couldn't believe that something so wonderful could happen to her in later life. So she said to her friend, you tell that young man out there to stop his lies. He is not my child. When Richard Preston was refused, he could not go after coming all this far. He walked into that house, walked past that man, grabbed a hold of his mother, and told her the story of a scar behind his neck. A scar he'd received while he was still with her. And he told her the story of that scar. And then she looked at him and tears welled up in her eyes. They hugged each other. They bowed down and prayed together. And they sang praises to the Lord because he had indeed brought them a mighty long way. Richard Preston. He again saw that his people were being dehumanized by poverty and neglect. And so he studied a ministry under John Burton and went to England, and when he came back, he got up on a horse and buggy, and he traveled to Beachville, and he traveled to Greenville, and he traveled to Digby, and he traveled to Truro, and he traveled to all the places that his people were. And he convinced them to build churches. And he convinced them to learn education and to have hope. Richard Preston, a little slave boy over 200 years ago, had a dream. And I have a dream here today, a dream for all Nova Scotia. And this dream is that one day we too will be reunited with the riches of justice and the treasures of equality. This dream is too that our children will be able to go to the schools and the universities of this province and not only be taught science and math and crafts, but they will also be told of a rich history and be allowed to grow strong in that knowledge. This dream is that we too will be employed in the factories and in the fire departments and in the police departments and in the government houses of Sydney and Truro and Halifax all over Nova Scotia. This dream is that we will be reunited for justice and equality. This is not just a black dream. This is a dream for all people in Nova Scotia. So I say this to you tonight. We here at the Halifax Library, let this dream rise. Let this dream rise up in the stony paths of North Preston. Let it rise up in the winding turns of East Preston. Let it rise up in the rolling marshlands in Shelburne County, and in Greenville and Yarmouth County. Let it rise up in Conway and Jordantown and Digby. Let this dream rise up in the rich farmlands of Gibson Woods, and let it rise up in the marsh and the hill in Truro. Let it rise up in the prodigious mountains in Sunnyvale and Guysborough County, and from the smoking chimneys of Whitney Pier and the Sterling in Glace Bay. Let this dream rise. When we allow this dream to rise, when we allow this dream to rise up from every church and from every alley, from every schoolhouse and every meeting house, we will indeed be able to say, we've made a way for our children. We've taught them hope and showed them how to grow. And we've reunited all our people, black and white people, Asian and Lebanese people, Polish, and our people have come from all places of the world coming here for justice and equality and opportunity. We've united all our people with love, justice, and equality. God bless you.
Taught us. Sing a song
you so much. Can we have another round of applause for Mr. David Woods, please? So I'm going to call Devin Paris to the service desk again for another draw. Door prize draw. Mr. Woods, thank you for standing there.
Reverend Preston gets to do extra duty. 675-487-11. And one more. 675-487-15. Thank you all for the invitation.
Congratulations to our winners. Please welcome, for the next performance, this is going to be a duet you didn't even know you wanted. Please welcome Jupiter Rain and Ovano Assembly with their version of I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Let's have some fun with this. Wanna? Clock strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade. Still enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away. I've been alright up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. But when the night falls, my loneliness falls. I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me.
I've been in love and lost my senses, spinning through the town. Sooner or later the feeling ends, and I wind up feeling down. I need a man who'll take a chance on a love that burns hot enough to last. And when the night falls, my lonely heart falls.
If you know it, say.
I wanna dance with somebody.
Yeah,
I wanna feel the heat
with somebody.
Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody.
With somebody who loves me.
Oh, I wanna dance with somebody.
I wanna feel the heat
With somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody.
with somebody who loves me. Yeah, with somebody who loves me. With somebody who loves me. Y'all give it up one more time for Jupiter Rain.
Give it up for O-Sound.
Thank y'all, thank y'all. I got a couple more songs for y'all tonight before I depart from you. And Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, guys. Are you cheering for me departing or? I'm playing. I hope it is. Yeah, these songs are familiar. By the way, the songs that I sang earlier were Refuge by John Legend and Smile by Kirk Franklin, if anybody's interested to know. And these two are going to be a couple familiar ones too. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and play it. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob by, so lied to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hands were made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had. Sing if you know this part. What? Redemption songs. Yeah, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, yeah, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Sing along. Won't you help to sing, yeah, these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, yes, redemption song. Thank y'all so much. We got one more for y'all. And this is a personal favorite song of mine. It's called World's Greatest. Just stand up tall, look him in the face and say, I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain get up high. Hey, I made it, I'm the world's greatest. Hey, and I'm that little bit of hope. When my back's against the ropes, I can feel it, yeah, I'm the world's greatest. Giant
the Halifax Public Libraries, who makes this live stream possible, Support for Culture, TD Bank, and our NCO volunteers behind the scenes, as well as the library volunteers. I'd like us all to, well, sorry, before that, I'm going to do 2 more drums. I have to count.
Well done, Joby.
The last 4 numbers are 6, 8, 9. 8, 6, 8, 9. Mr. Irvin Carberry. Round of applause. And our last number is 8751. 8751.
Is that you, Miss Dolly? No? Oh, Susan. No, Susan, could I please ask you, and Jussie, and is Rashida with you too? Please, I would like the audience to take a moment and recognize the family of the late Terry Simons. Susan, please come down.
Come down.
As we have said over and over, I just want to thank the Halifax City Library for honoring the legacy of Terry Simons 40 years ago, and it was such a humble beginning. We never thought that would go to be this far. I remember sitting in our living room and having a vision of what this could be, and we're so grateful and thankful. And I'm also, sometimes when we go forward 40 years later, we forget who started things, but I really have to thank you guys for acknowledging Terry Simons, Dia Mooney, and David Woods with a spectacular performance today. My purpose in speaking is that sometimes history can be lost, and I would encourage all of you in this room to have enough courage to stand and speak so your history will not be lost. Okay? Thank you. Legacy, true legacy. And we continue to honor Terry through the North Branch Library. As I said, many of us started there. We took those steps. He was our mentor. And we continue to tell that story over and over again. Before we leave this evening, I would ask you to please rise for the departure of His Honor and his wife. And I thank you all for being here and celebrating 40 years of the celebration of African Heritage Month in Nova Scotia. Oh, and then we also invite you to please join us for refreshments. From Mr. Smooth. Oh, from Mr. Smooth, thank you. And it's good too, I got to sneak some before y'all started. I had to, it's smelling too good back there. You can say happy birthday. We have no music? No. Oh, where are the drummers? You guys want to let the drummers through?
Okay, as we
prepared to go for food. Ruff's Culture is going to take us home.
Thank you.